How do we convince ourselves that the big task is going to be more fulfilling than the cheap, quick dopamine?
And that big task is going to be a lot more rewarding than the small, repetitive, cheap dopamine, especially at night. And what I actually realized was that dopamine actually resets itself and restores as you sleep. And so scrolling at nighttime or binge watching Netflix or any of those things that give you cheap dopamine, and even eating late night snacks and all that, that actually well, one, it disrupts your sleep and that keeps your dopamine system from restoring itself. But also, it desensitizes your dopamine receptors. So when you wake up in the morning, you're, for lack of a better, like keep it simple, you're less sensitive to dopamine when you wake up in the morning, when you give yourself cheap dopamine at night. And so cheap dopamine is number 3. It's a big reason why people stay stuck. Yeah, because if you're giving yourself snacks all day, you're never going to be driven to cook a meal. If you're giving yourself cheap dopamine all day long, you're never going to be driven to go do the big task that's going to help you get closer to your dreams.
I love that. How do we convince ourselves that the big task is going to be more fulfilling than the cheap, quick dopamine? It's easy to binge a show, and you don't realize that actually building the thing you love or starting that business or investing in that relationship, whatever it is, will be so much more meaningful.
And that's where knowing your why. And I kind of have a different take on discipline, where I don't really think of like this hardcore sort of discipline sort of moment. I think of discipline as looking out for future you. And I think this is why it's super important for me whenever I am working with people. I ask them, like, who do you want to be? Like when you imagine yourself like achieving the goals or whatever it is, like it's not really about that. It's about who achieving those goals is going to make you become. And that's really what it's all about. Like, who are you feeling called to become? And getting super clear on who that is and why you want to be that person. And so understanding your why and why you want to do it. Why do you want to write the book? And that will keep you going and motivate you. But also who that's going to make you become. Like, I want to be an author. Like, I want to have a book published. And sometimes that's going to motivate me a lot more than just thinking about publishing a book. I think that is sort of super important, is really knowing your why. And then I think the other thing, when you're clear on that, when you're clear on who you want to become and your why and your purpose for doing it, that's really the first half of it. And then the other half of it, I don't do the whole internal battle thing. Like, I don't negotiate with myself. And so I think trying to convince yourself that it's going to be rewarding and going to be better than scrolling on my phone, I don't think that we can really even do that. And then get clear on like what it is that you want, and then don't give it to yourself until after the big thing has been accomplished, after you've done the thing that you want to do. And that's how you start to train your brain that it's more rewarding.